Salute, MobTube. How's everybody doing today? Let me shout some people out. Miss Can't Be Wrong, Dave, Joe Root, Mob Rat's exposed as a racist and a fat rat. Michael Hensley, we love you too, my friend. Davis Dean, Ben Piggin, Brian Bozak, War. Let's see who else we got. M. Soretti and Love for Steel. I think that's it for now. Only 20 people. Listen, I can tell you this, guys. Today is going to be a different type of addiction and recovery show. I made a decision a little while ago about how I want to do today's show, and I'm going to stick to it. So this might be a little bit sad. Let me just warn you. But I'm going to spill my guts today because I think it's about time that I do, you know? I'm going to tell you a lot of things I never told you before. And there's a good reason for it. You know, for one, this is like my therapy, just like it is for you guys, especially when it comes to my recovery process. When I vent to you guys, quite often it makes me feel a lot better. And I might not have done this, you know, a few weeks ago or a few months ago because I, believe it or not, as much as I tell you guys, I hold a lot in. But just like a lot of you guys, especially ex-addicts or active addicts, current, whatever you want to call it, I have a lot of pain. You know what I mean? A lot of things that haunt me. A lot of stuff going on up here that I can't get off my mind. I've been sober almost 43 months. On the 21st, it'll be 43 months. And every month of my recovery, I've asked myself, when is this shit going to stop? When am I finally going to be able to move on with my fucking life? Forgive myself, let things go. But I've come to a conclusion. The answer to that is never. Bottom line, death. That's the only thing that's going to make the pain go away. Who knows when that'll come? But that's it. There's no way out of it. Unless you have a lobotomy or something like that, get a piece of your brain removed, you're just going to have to live with the pain. You got no choice. Not just my mother, Miss Can't Be Wrong, but you're pretty close. I'll tell you the truth, guys. I wish we could have 200 people here for this show. Because I'd like as many people as possible to hear this. I might regret this later, but I don't think so. I've told you guys enough already, damaging information and everything else, because that's what I do. I talk to you guys about what's going on in my fucking head. And I'm going to do the same thing today. Just in a different way. And maybe it'll be a little more revealing than usual. What's up, Batchelder Street, L'chaim Putz, Ghetto Press Productions, Jane Creek. How you guys doing? Yeah, it is war. I'll tell you the truth, guys. I know you're listening to my voice and looking at me right now and thinking FBS is in a bad mood or he's sad or having a bad day. I'll tell you exactly what happened, to be honest. I woke up in a good mood. I slept pretty good. You know what I mean? I had some silly dreams, but not really nightmares, which is rare. I was having fun, you know, listening to YouTube, playing a game on my phone, planning the day, whatever. And then, just like every day, it hit me. All these memories, all these what ifs. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. Happens all the time. I wasn't expecting it today, at least not so early in the day, you know? I try to keep myself busy, even if it's just doing something stupid on my phone, you know, to keep myself distracted. But it doesn't always work. It doesn't. It's very difficult. No, Jesse Roth, I've gone over, I think, what I can say and what I can't say. You know what I mean? And a lot of it might not seem that new to you because I've touched on some of these things before. I'm just going to get a little more detailed today, because you see us guys on here, me, Gunsmoke, SoFlo, everything else. You see us usually joking around and, making fun of people and things and stuff like that, joking around and trying our best to entertain you. But I think this show is going to be um, it's going to give you a good idea of how all of us, everyone, and I don't just mean content creators, I mean everyone, everywhere is battling some type of demons all the time. You know what I mean? You'd be hard pressed to find a person who is always in a good state of mind, who has peace of mind at all times, doesn't regret any decisions, never hurt anyone, never been hurt by anyone. It would be rare to find somebody like that. Joseph Montanero, what's up, bro? So hopefully, today will I don't know, give you more insight, at least into the mind of FBS, And I don't, I wouldn't do this on a regular show. And trust me, guys, I'm very apprehensive about this, but I thought it over. And I honestly believe that when I tell you what I go through on a regular basis, it'll at the very least make you feel a little more comfortable and maybe, that you're not so alone. Because let's be honest, on a regular basis, I'm usually a joker. You know what I mean? It's all comedy and fun for the most part. I get angry sometimes, but you know what I mean. But maybe if you see from someone else firsthand what they go through during their recovery, maybe it'll help you feel better. I'm sorry about what you go through in your own recovery. That's my hope. If this doesn't help anybody or give anyone comfort, then I might regret it. But believe it or not, guys, I'm doing this for myself and I'm doing it for you as well. I think it'll help both of us. So I'm just going to give it a little more time because I want to have as many people here as possible. That might only be 50, 60 people. It's an addiction and recovery show. But, we'll see. Only time will tell. Just like everything else in life. Thank you, Miss Campiero. I'm no one to be admired, though, trust me. Plato said that everyone is fighting their own terrible battle, so be kind. I try to remember that when dealing with people. Yeah, I got to get better at that myself, Jane Creed, when it comes to dealing with other people. FBS, we crack jokes to mask our pain. Absolutely. It's pretty much a fact. Look at most comedians. Most comedians are in a very, very dark place. They are. They're self-loathing people for the most part. A lot of them will tell you that straight up. There's a lot of Artie Langs out there and Greg Giraldos, people like that. A lot of people that either find their humor through their pain or use their humor to mask their pain. I'm not sure. Joseph Montanero, 100% serenity does not exist. Life is one vile task after another, with moments of happiness if you're lucky. It's fucking sad, isn't it? Life is one vile task after another with moments of happiness. Wow. Well, thank you for making me laugh, Joseph. It's sad, but it's true. It's sad, but it's true. Thank you, Ward. Thank you. Chris Farley. Yeah, a lot. There's tons of them. There's tons of them. You know what I mean? And I don't like being like this, guys. I hate coming on here in this type of mood and showing you this side of myself. But guys, believe it or not, a lot of the time when I'm not on here, this is how I am. This is how I feel. This is why I'm a solitary person. I kind of like being alone to some extent. Because when I'm alone, I can fight these battles in my fucking head. When other people are around, these battles that go on in my head, might make me fight with other people. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Farley probably did. Yep. All right. Well, 53 people. I might as well get it going. So, I don't know where I want to start, guys. I don't know. Part of me says start with the what ifs, but I think what I'm going to tell you is filled with what ifs, and I'll talk about them as I go. Like I said, I'm not sure where to start, but I think a good time would be somewhere around 2005, 2006, something like that. So let me tell you, my life from the outside looked like a dream come true. And in a way, it was. In a way, it absolutely was. I had seen unbelievable amounts of success in my early 20s. Seriously. I mean, lots of money, lots of notoriety. I was on the radio all the time as a DJ, all different radio stations. I was DJing in clubs all over fucking Pennsylvania and Baltimore. And I was making a shit ton of money, you know, and I had my own little level of fame, especially in my community, my city. You know what I mean? I was a beast. I was the best fucking DJ in York City, without a doubt at the time. The club owners knew it. The customers knew it. The other DJs knew it. You know? And that was a dream come true. You know, when I was a little kid in the 80s in Queens, my brother had one of those like rack systems. You remember those with the little turntable on the top? Not so much a turntable, but a record player. You know, and I would listen to Run DMC, for example, Jam Master Jay, you know, people like that. And I would try to emulate the scratches. You know what I mean? I loved the sound of the scratching on the songs. I love what it added to the music. So I would hear a certain type of scratching, and I would go up to my brother's room, and I would, you know, use his little record player and just throw some record on and try to make those scratching sounds. So when I was like, say 13 or 14, I made it known to my parents all I wanted. And my parents, listen, they did not spend a lot of money on me. My mom probably would have liked to. My dad wasn't having it. Wasn't having it. Christmases were not, you know, a tree with 1,000 presents underneath of it. Not even close. You know what I mean? We generally didn't get a lot. But when I was 13, 14 years old, somewhere around that time, I let it be known to my parents, all I want is turntables and a mixer. That's it. It's my dream. Just give me turntables and a mixer. So my mom actually went to a yard sale and got the cheapest, shittiest turntables you could imagine. And then went to Radio Shack and got me one of those like $75 mixers, which were actually dope back then because they had the transformer switch and all that. Super tight fader, though. Fader was no good. And I started learning on these piece of shit fucking turntables. I had a friend named Sean. Sean was a beast. This motherfucker was like, there was nothing he couldn't do on turntables. He was amazing. Me and Sean were best fucking friends. Okay, without a doubt. And I would sneak into clubs and shit when I was young. Now I'm jumping ahead a little bit. You know what I mean? And I would battle the other DJs. It was usually always black DJs in a black club. It was hip hop. and I would beat them. I would, the crowd would go fucking crazy. So I knew I had a talent. But the thing is, I'm glad I mentioned Sean because he's a big part of my fucking story. I, around somewhere 14, 15 years old, uh, met a dude named Merle. Merle was a fucking straight hustler. You know, we used to hang out at the mall, and Merle would walk around with a girl on each arm. He had the big ass Zach Morris cell phone that nobody had at the time, jewelry, clothes, everything. So I started talking to Merle, and he started showing me how to sell weed, what shit costs, how much you sell it for, how to weigh it, how to bag it up, all that. So I started hustling right away. But pretty quickly, I moved up pretty fast. You know, I went from getting a QP at a time to getting 10 pounds a week. You know, I was making a lot of fucking money. So let's bring Sean back into the story. Sean wanted me to put him on. You know what I mean? Now, he was a black kid. He lived in the hood, a very bad area. This was a tough kid, though. He was no joke. He was a feared guy. You know what I mean? But he actually had a mother who had a lot of fucking money. You know, his mother had a very good job, and he didn't want for nothing. This kid had everything. When he turned 16, she bought him a brand new Acura with 18-inch Nietzsche's on it. You remember the Nietzsche's? Those sick ass rims, look like a Chinese throwing star or some shit. Yeah, this is the kid I told you about before, who his mother would actually send him to school late the day that new Jordans were released because it was that important to her that her son had the new Jordans. Now, my life was the opposite. When I was younger, before I was making my own money, I could beg my parents for a pair of Nikes. I wasn't getting them, which is a lot of what led me to make the decision to say fuck this and make my own money. Start hustling. You know what I mean? So like I said, I did. I started selling weed. I put Sean on. You know what I mean? I would front him shit. You know, he started moving up a little bit. And then at one point, he was at a friend's house, a girl. Her brother was a major coke and crack dealer in York City. Major, right? Well, Sean was kind of a pimp. Every girl wanted him. You know what I mean? And he was with this chick, and, you know, they did their thing. Of course, she fell asleep. Well, when she fell asleep, he went into her brother's safe that just happened to be open. And he took a couple of ounces of hard, a couple of ounces of soft, you know, crack and coke. And then he was really put on. He started selling that shit. But him and another guy who I met through him put me on to coke. You know what I mean? Because I realized, holy shit, I'm selling. I got a brick of weed that's 10 pounds. It takes me 2 hours just to unwrap it. It comes from Texas. Fucking dryer sheets, plastic wrap, aluminum foil, you fucking name it. I got to cut the shit apart and then break this fucking brick up into pounds. And if I want to sell ounces, break the pounds into ounces, all that shit. And, you know, if I sold them as pounds, I'm making $4,000 off 10 pounds. You know what I mean? 10 pounds, $1,000 each. If I sold them as ounces, it was a different story. You can make up to, you know, $16,000, whatever. But you sell it as fast as you can. You know, it's a lot. It's a big, bulky thing to have around. A very illegal at the time, a very big, very smelly, bulky thing. These guys came to me and showed me that I could get a couple ounces of coke that are maybe the size of a couple of baseballs, and I could make the same or more. You know what I mean? It doesn't stink. It doesn't take up too much room. It's not as dangerous to drive with. And the money comes a lot quicker. So I started fucking with that. Anyway, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. I'm not even sure. I guess I'm telling you my whole story. I didn't plan that. So anyway, that was where I started selling cocaine. And around 15, 16, I started drinking. You know what I mean? But I was totally against drugs. You know, a couple of times friends talked me into smoking weed, but fuck that. You know what I mean? I hated it. I told you guys that before. And then eventually, you know, I wound up using cocaine for the first time, and I fucking fell in love. Fell in love. It was like I was reborn. This drug was such a positive addition to my life, the way I felt. I fell into a very bad clinical depression, and that made it all worse because I would have anxiety to the point where I would think I'm dying. And the only thing that would calm me is fucking alcohol, you know? Alcohol. So I was a pretty, for my area, as Anthony Arlotta would say, I was, from my young age, on a pretty high level. I was selling a lot of shit. You know what I mean? I was making a lot of fucking money as a teenager. But that addiction takes over. And now you're not even worried as much about selling it as you are doing it. But I was still doing both. I had enough to keep myself, getting high and still make a profit, whatever. But of course, I took a major fall, once the addiction got really bad. Anyway, we'll fast forward to when I had that seizure. So you guys know the story. I won't go over it again. I tried to quit drinking because a girlfriend of mine who I loved very much told me that, listen, Chris, I lost my father from this alcohol shit. I'm not going to lose you too. You either quit drinking or I'm fucking leaving. I wasn't having that. I could not lose her. So I decided, not knowing anything about alcohol withdrawal or, the fact that you have to be medically detoxed. You can't just quit cold turkey. I didn't know that. I thought it was like smoking. I thought you could just stop. Even though I had been through severe withdrawal many times, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just, all I wanted to do was make sure that I got to keep this person in my life. So I decided I quit. I'm going to go to a friend's house who doesn't drink. There's no alcohol in his house. Plus, me and this guy are like brothers. I know he'll watch over me, and help me through this, 12 hours later, after suffering for 12 hours, I mean, he would bring me cups of ice water. I'd have to drink them over the sink in the bathroom because my hands are like this. And I'm spilling everything in the fucking cup. You know what I mean? I could barely get any into my fucking mouth because I'm spilling it everywhere. And I just heaving, throwing up, violently ill. Anyway, I had the grand mal seizure. After the seizure, I spent a good bit of time in the hospital, 7 days of it in a coma. I went berserk from DTs. I kicked the nurse. They had to strap me down to the bed for days. I was strapped down. When they finally released me from the hospital, my doctor insisted I go to an inpatient rehab, and I insisted that I don't. But it was a negotiation, and I said, you know what, doc? I'll go to outpatient. How about that? I'll go to outpatient. And that's what I did. I took myself to WellSpan Behavioral Health in York, and I got myself involved in an outpatient program, and I completed it. I was sober and clean for a while. But after a couple of years, I was like, fuck this. I'm 21 now. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not drinking ever again. No way. I can drink. I can just drink every now and then. So that's what I started doing. I would drink every now and then. And hang on, guys. I don't really want anybody in the house to hear me. Read some comments for a minute. I just can't imagine life without a glass of wine, etc. First time been on his addiction program. Not sure. I used to get cocaine that was 98% pure and cut it down to 60 to 40. Cut it down to 60. Yeah, 60, 40, and sell to fund my drug and alcohol use. Well, I'll tell you the truth. I never knew how pure my coke was. I just knew if it was good or bad, and I knew if it was very, very good or very, very bad. So I'd cut it based on that. Listen, I usually always got fire. I had all types of connections: Mexicans, Jamaicans. You know what I mean? Like I said, in the neighborhood I lived in, the area was very, very bad, and there was drug dealers from all over the fucking place: New York, Philly, Baltimore. That they would just get a fucking apartment and post up and sell their shit. It was nothing to get weight and fire. So I got every ounce I got, I'd add 7 grams. If I knew I could, I would. That's it. You know what I mean? And that would, now instead of 2,800 an ounce, I'm getting 3,500 an ounce. You know what I mean? And I'm paying 800. So anyway, all right. I feel like I can speak now. I don't know. I don't really want anybody in the house to know that I'm doing this. At least not my stepson or my mother. Shanna, that's a different story. I don't mind if she hears. But I heard my mom coming down and leaving. Where was I at? So yeah, okay. So I thought I could drink. It's whatever. I'll drink from time to time, and I actually did that. I did that for maybe 2002, 2003. Now I left out a part, in 99 after the seizure and stuff. And I'm cutting out some of it because you've heard a lot of this before. But in 99, actually before I had the seizure, I'm sorry, because I was still drinking. I got caught, basically you could say at a hotel party. I mean, the cops raided the room. They ran my name. I tried to use somebody else's name. He says, "Oh, you have warrants." I was like, "Oh, I was lying. My name is actually Chris Lodrigo." "Oh, well, you have a felony warrant from the Drug Task Force." So anyway, I was busted right then and there. And, I went to court and all that. It was all wrapped up by late 2000. And I did go to jail for a while. I got out of jail, and like I said, I was still pretty much clean and sober, but it didn't last that long. I would start drinking every now and then, and I had it down pat. I could drink on the weekends, and even then, I didn't even drink on the weekends. I had a very small child, a baby daughter. You know what I mean? And I would only drink, honestly, at that point, maybe once every few months, maybe on special occasions. Ryan Morrison, 449 super sticker. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I don't ask for donations on these shows, but they're very much appreciated. So thank you, Ryan. So, I would drink rarely. But then as the DJing thing ramped up and I was DJing, in clubs 3-4 nights a week, it's like, you get a bar tab with your pay. Like I might be getting $375 a night in cash, but they'll also give you a $50 bar tab, meaning you could drink $50 worth of shit for free. You know what I mean? And I had this one club. I was never really much of a beer person, but I would be drinking for hours. I would know that I'm going to be drinking for at least the 4 hours that I'm DJing that night. So I would take some shots. I'd get my Bacardi and Coke, whatever. But I would also get at this one place, I think it was like $5 pitchers of Miller Lite, some shit like that. I'd get a pitcher of Miller Lite, and then I'd get my drinks in between. But I'd drink the beer throughout the night, whatever. Maybe I'd get more than one sometimes. I would always leave fucked up, wasted. But at the time, I was DJing in New York City, and I also lived in New York City, and I just happened to live like maybe 10, 12 blocks from where I was DJing. And I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you walk? Because you don't walk in New York City at that time of night, especially when you're carrying a lot of DJ equipment. You need a vehicle to transport it, first of all. But even if you're just carrying a duffel bag with some records, some CDs, whatever, you don't do that. Okay. You're asking for trouble. I don't care who you are. And this, this club was in a rough fucking neighborhood. But I would do that. I didn't get no drunk driving charges because I was always close to home. I always knew the ducky routes. You know what they are. Like, any city anybody lives in, they're involved in criminal activity. They know their ducky routes, meaning they know what alleys to take, what streets to take, and all that to avoid the cops at all costs. And I was very good at that. I knew my city well. So I would do just that. And I used to laugh about how much I would drive drunk and never get caught. You know what I mean? It was like I probably 500 times, and I'd laugh about it. But as the DJing went on, I got more and more heavily involved in the coke. This is how I got back into coke. I was still selling weed. I mean, I never stopped. As soon as I got out of jail, I got a few pounds and I was selling weed. I was selling weed for all those years. And then one night I went to this place, Ada's, that I used to hang out at after the club. And who was there but Sean? Sean said, "Bro, Let me put you on. And he handed me a bunch of glass bottles. You know what I mean? Each glass bottle had a ball in it. So now I'm like, oh shit, that's what's up. So I went home, I chopped it up, I bagged it. Boom, I'm back at Ada's every night selling coke in there. You know what I mean? Plus, I had my own customers on the street. But once I had it in my hands, guess what I was doing with it? I was using it again, which then elevates and ramps up the drinking. Now you're drinking more because you're doing so much cocaine. You're geeking out all the fucking time. And that's what I would do. And listen, I can't get into details. I never can on this. This is something I just can't talk about. But in 2006, I won't even mention, there's, obviously it took place on a specific day, but I won't even get into that. Let's just say it was a holiday. A terrible, terrible tragedy took place in my life. And I will tell you this, not to jump ahead, but that tragedy took me about 16 years not to get over. I'm still not over it. I'll never be over it. Never. I've come to that conclusion. But it destroyed everything in my life. Everything. That was the beginning of the end. When this tragedy took place, that was it. I fucking snapped. Literally. I'll just tell you, this tragedy took place at my house at the time, right? And I was convinced that the person responsible for this tragedy was going to come back. Maybe lightning strikes twice, I was so fucking nuts, guys, that I would sit in my backyard overnight against my garage with an ounce of Coke, a half gallon of rum, and 2 380s. And I would just wait because I was convinced that this person will be back. And when he's back, I can fucking kill him. I can take his life. That was my dream. That's all I cared about. I was hyper fucking focused on revenge. I wanted this person to die. And I was geeking. I was coked up. I was out of my fucking mind. I was paranoid because I don't know, I'm looking around me, being careful just in case. And I did crazy shit. One time a van drove by, and in my diseased, cocaine-driven mind, I thought the guy is in the van, and I run down the street shooting at this fucking van. And it probably was nobody. There was another time, well, I can't get into this, but there was something else, I did out of revenge. There was many things, actually. I was collecting an arsenal at the time. I'll tell you that much. I wanted I can't say too much. So that ruined everything. It ruined everything in my life because I couldn't get over it. It was so fucking heartbreaking and sad. And it hurt so bad that I wasn't able to stop this from happening, and now that it did happen, there's nothing I can do about it, no matter how hard I try. It destroyed me. The DJ career, I went from being the biggest DJ in New York City to slowly losing all that because I would be so fucked up when I was DJing. Don't get me wrong. I always put on a good performance. I'm OCD, so every beat matched up, every scratch was on point, the mixing was good, the song selection. I was a dope DJ. But what happened was I didn't care about DJing anymore. I mean, I would actually call off. A couple of times I did that, maybe twice I called off because I was focused on doing something else. I didn't even care anymore. And there was one night where I was on the phone with somebody and I was fighting with them about this tragedy. And I let the music stop. I think I told you about this, guys. Never, ever, 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 ever in 7 years of professional DJing for a living did I ever let the music stop. And if you know DJing, you know that can't happen. Let me tell you, DJs that play a song, let the song run out, and then start another song, There's no talent involved. Anybody could do it. They're button pushers. You could put them in some redneck bar and they could be a DJ there. But in a nightclub, no. Even at an event, no. You don't let the music stop. Right? That was it. I said, fuck this. I threw my headphones down. I left my equipment, my records behind, and I left. Luckily, another DJ from a club across the street, a guy I was very close with, was with me, so he took care of all that shit. But I was out, and that was it. I was done DJing. I didn't give a fuck. And you know what? I didn't really have a choice, because shortly after, I caught 2 DUIs damn near back to back. Right? And once that happened, you can't be a DJ anymore. How do you transport turntables, multiple crates of records, books of CDs, a microphone, everything you need, your mixer, all that shit? How do you do it? You need to drive, especially if you're doing events. And I would do events in the Poconos and Baltimore and Philly. You know what I mean? So my DJ career was over. So I lost that. Now, that wasn't so much due to addiction as it was this other thing that took place. But this other thing that took place brought my addiction to another level. I was now, for the first time in my life, doing cocaine 24 fucking hours a day. 24 hours a day. I mean, I would wake up and do a line. I would do a line before I went to sleep. I was working. I would do lines at work. I'd go in the bathroom. I'd sneak a beer from the bar because I worked in a big fucking the kitchen of a huge ballroom. You know what I mean? Major venue, you know? And I would go upstairs to the mezzanine. There was a bar. I would take a beer. I'd go in the fucking bathroom. I'd cut out some lines on a dollar bill. I'd snort them. I'd drink the beer. I'd go back to work. I was drinking. And I was even doing coke when I wasn't drinking. I was out of my fucking mind. And I was very, very dangerous at that time. Very. Then, of course, as you know, I tried to kill somebody. And I wound up in a psych ward. Not good. That was January of 2007 at this point. That was right after I caught the second DUI, I believe. I wound up in there. It's the worst experience of my life. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Actually, I probably would. But it was terrible. If you told me today you could do a year in York County prison or a week in the psych ward, I'd say I'll take the York County prison. That's how bad it is, guys. It's a fucking living nightmare. It really is. I've never seen anything worse. Definitely, probably the most trying time of my life was time in that fucking psych ward. But this whole period of time was trying, not just from the night that tragedy took place, but for the next 15, 16 fucking years. You know? So anyway, I got my shit together, you know, after the psych ward. You know, I stopped drinking, I stopped doing coke altogether, but then I started again. That lasted a little while, to the point where, you know, I was just done. You know, I had pretty much lost everything. You know what I mean? I was still hustling a little bit, but everything was ruined. You know what I mean? My life was fucking destroyed. You name it. Everything went wrong. All my friends started going to fucking prison, the feds, state prison, whatever. Everybody had cases. You know, I gave up my home at the time just because of the memories. I couldn't be there any fucking more. You know, and now, boom, there's a custody agreement. You know what I mean? For the first time in my life, I'm not seeing my daughter every day, and she's all I fucking cared about. She was my angel, you know? And now I'm only seeing her for a week at a time. Then for a week I don't see her. Then I see her for a week. And that was destroying me. I mean, I would stay completely clean and sober when she was with me, but when she would leave and go to her mom's, I would fucking break down. And it would make me drink. You know what I mean? I would drink like a motherfucker just to make it go away. I couldn't look at her room and see that she's not in it. I'm so confused. I didn't recognize my situation. Why did this all happen? Why the fuck did all this take place? Why am I not seeing my daughter every day? Why am I at war with the love of my life? Why am I in so much fucking pain? You know what I mean? But when she was with me, I was so fucking happy. I was so happy it actually took my mind off all that other terrible shit. You know what I mean? It really did. But eventually I got a really good job. I've told you guys about this. You've heard about the infamous cookie factory a million times. Let me tell you something. That was one hell of a job. Okay. I was making really good money, but not only was I making really good money, I became the lead on that shift. I told you guys, I always excelled in my jobs. I always became a supervisor, a shift lead, something. So I was a lead, not the whole shift, but that department. That department, the mixing department, which had maybe 35, 40 people working in it. Being the lead, overtime was always offered to me first. You know what I mean? I had the choice. If I wanted to work 60 hours, I could. And Saturday was time and a half. Sunday was triple time. So I was head first into that fucking job. I would work 6, 7 days a week for months at a fucking time. You know what I mean? I'm bringing home $1,100, $1,200 a week. And you got to remember, this is 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. And this is in Pennsylvania, okay, where the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. If you're bringing home that type of money, you're good. I mean, my apartment at the time for me and my daughter was $525 a month. My car I owned outright. Of course, don't get me wrong, that took some time because I lost my license for 3.5 years after the DUIs. But eventually, I had money saved. I bought myself a car. All I had was my insurance. My bills might have been collectively with utilities, cell phone, everything, $1,100 a month. I was making that a week. So I was doing good. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even have to hustle. For the first time in my life, like, I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I was making enough money that I could still have whatever the fuck I wanted. You know what I mean? I'll tell you this. The last 4 or 5 months I worked there, I worked 7 days a week straight without a day off. Swear to God. Because I had it down. Even when my daughter was with me, this is what I would do. The week she was with me, I would get off work. I'd go to the gym for about an hour. Okay. I was obsessed with the gym. I believe it or not, I was fucking cut. I was, I looked good, right? I was going to the gym every single fucking morning. I didn't miss a day. And that went on for about 1.5 years. So I'd go to the gym for about an hour. I would go home. I would wake up my daughter. And then I would, turn the shower on for her, stuff like that, let her take a shower. When she was done taking a shower, I would make her breakfast. She would eat her breakfast. Then I would, give her clothes to get dressed. I would comb her hair, you know what I mean? Make sure her hair looked good for school. And I would drive her to school. She didn't take the bus. I drove her to school and I picked her up from school. And then I would sleep till about 2. I'd wake up. I would, go pick my daughter up from school at 3:30. And then I'd spend the day with her. And then at 9 o'clock, I was off to work. My shift started at 10. And by the way, I almost died doing that. A doctor told me at one point, if I don't start sleeping more, I won't have to worry about stress or anything else because I'll be dead. But that's what I would do because I didn't want to lose a minute with her. It was everything to me. You know what I mean? Like, it was the only thing I was living for. It was my time with her. That's it. And, I would, every weekend, you know what I mean? Every weekend, especially if I didn't work, I would wake her up with a plan. I'd wake her up. Hey, you want to go to the zoo today? You want to go to Adventure Aquarium in Camden? You want to go to Philly and walk South Street? You want to, you know what I mean? Go to Inner Harbor and tour some ships and fucking see all the cool stuff there, whatever. We were always doing stuff. We went to Disney World. We fucking, I took her, a lot of places. And I was doing so good, guys. So fucking good. For years. And then one night, Motherfucker. I would still kill this cocksucker till this day. If I could find him, I'd blow his head clean off. I swear to Christ. I'm at my job, which I was very responsible, hard worker, never got in the slightest bit of trouble, never got a write-up. My attendance was excellent. My reputation was fantastic. HR loved me. And then one night I'm on a fucking forklift, and this dickhead is dragging this piece of equipment. It's technically, it's called a trough. It's really a trough, but it's filled with dough. He's rushing it to a line because he was late making his fucking dough. Well, he swings this trough around because it's on wheels, and I happen to be on the forklift, and the fucking trough hit the fucking forks. There was 2 supervisors standing right there. 2, Treva and Scott. Okay? And guess what? They didn't say a thing. They were just concerned that the dough got to the line on time. No problem. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm fucking sitting there. You know? Well, this cocksucker, Vinny, who was brand fucking new at that job, he was a supervisor, brand new, big musclehead asshole. You know what I mean? He saw this, and he wanted to get in good with HR. So what does he do? He runs to HR, and he says, so-and-so had a forklift accident, and another guy had an accident with a piece of equipment, and 2 supervisors stood there and watched and didn't send any of them for a drug test. Okay? About 2 days after he did that, they call us all to HR. Now, mind you, we just got off work, 6:30 a.m. Treva and Scott are in fucking Baltimore. That's where they live. I'm home in York City. My other friend, he lived in York City as well, the one that was dragging the piece of equipment. They call every one of us in that morning. They had to drive in from Baltimore. I had to get my ass up and go to HR, whatever. They interviewed each one of us about what happened. And then they said, we're going to suspend you guys for 3 days while we do an investigation. And really what that meant is while we make a decision. I knew that was the end. And this job was my life. This job and my life with my daughter was everything to me. That job was my foundation. You know what I mean? I made a great living. For the first time in my life, I was able to live the way I wanted with just a job. Well, they finally called. It was about 4 days later. And they said, we're all fired. Every one of us. For that bullshit. Unbelievable, right? 4 years of impeccable fucking performance at this job. Because of this cocksucking rat bastard Vinny. Had to run and tell. You guys don't think I hate rats to some extent? Okay? I don't judge everybody because they ratted. Okay? But do I like the idea of people ratting? No. I never did. Okay? And this fucking guy did just that. You know what I mean? And 4 good people lost their jobs that they loved because of this rat cocksucker. I'm telling you, at the time, I didn't know, like, even in 2011, it wasn't as easy to find people and shit as it was today. I spent weeks trying to find out where this cocksucker lived. I swear to God I did. I couldn't figure it out. I even asked people who still work there to try to get a hold of his file or something, find out where he lives. Didn't work. So, Ryan Morrison, 179. Thank you very much, bro. So anyway, I started looking for another job right away in factories, but I wasn't getting anything. You got to remember, the economy was still pretty bad at this point. So what was my answer? You know, I had a few $1,000 saved up. I decided I'm going to start selling Coke and weed. And I went and I got an ounce of Coke and or something like that. I forget the exact amount. And a couple of pounds of this lavender Kush. Right? I bought a pound and one was fronted to me. I started pushing that, and that was it. You know, I got unemployment. My unemployment was like, I was getting like $5.50 a week unemployment. So I was like, fuck this. I'm not even going to look for a job no more. I'm hustling. This is it. I'm back to it. But, you know, after some time, I fucking started using again. You know what I mean? Heavily. I was hanging out with a girl who used a lot too, so we spent a lot of time together. It was bad, and I did get a couple of different jobs throughout that time, but I couldn't stay at them. I mean, I'd be at a fucking job Third shift. And I know my block is popping at the time. You know what I mean? All my friends are out. People are making fucking money. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm making fucking $13 an hour in this bitch. You know what I mean? Like, fuck this, bro. Nah. This is not how I'm spending my time. I quit. You know what I mean? Then I got another job that was real good, but I started experiencing some things there that I later found out was heart failure. And now, remember, I'm skipping through about a 4-year period of time, or 3 years, about 2011 to 2014. And let me backtrack before the heart thing. After about 2 years, I was so heavily involved in selling drugs and doing drugs and drinking that my performance as a father took a major fucking dip. You know what I mean? It was just, I was still responsible. I provided my daughter with everything she fucking needed. You know, I had my apartment, bills were paid. But my addiction took the fuck over. I ain't gonna lie. Where my priorities were all fucked up. And I would get sloppy and I would let my daughter see things she shouldn't see. That, I'm not saying anything bad, but I'm saying things that would give her clues that maybe daddy has a little bit too much money for somebody who's not working. And she knew about, she was in a certain type of neighborhood. She was old enough at this point, 12, 13, 14, that she knew who the drug dealers and shit were. And they just happened to all be my best friends. You know what I mean? You know, she'd see me. We were all on the same block. Even her mom lived across the street from me. Yeah, she bought a house across the street from me. She would see us all hanging out together. I got a Lincoln. My friends got a BMW. You know, we all got jewelry and money, and none of us have a fucking job. You know? So, I just fucked up. And I was getting so high and drunk that I would just mistreat people, yelling at people, flipping out on people. I never did that with my daughter, but other people, yeah. But I made a lot of mistakes with my daughter. You know, my addiction fucking took over. Let me tell you something, guys. Yeah, Lefty, you ain't kidding. I did everything I could. Addiction is a fucking thief. It really is. It takes and takes and takes, and it never gives back. It never fucking gives back. Ever. As long as you're in that addiction, you're going to lose. Not just in life, but you're going to lose everything you have. Over time, you are. And your addiction's only going to get worse. So anyway, I know I probably told you guys that story a million times, but I don't know how to tell my story without telling that. Even if I repeat it, without adding that, I should say. Even if I'm repeating it, I just have to. And I'm going to tell you a little more than I told you before. There's a lot of stuff, that I did wrong as a father for a good period of time there, as a son, as a brother, you fucking name it. Okay. I was putting myself at risk of being robbed, killed, locked up, every fucking day of my life. Every day. One time, my daughter's mom tells me that my daughter came home from school. And she said to her mom, is Dad okay? Is he okay? Frantic. And my daughter's mom said, yeah, I just talked to him a few minutes ago. Why? She said, oh, I saw this thing. They showed us this thing on the news at school. And I was just afraid he got in trouble. She said, what did they show you? It was something called Operation Sunrise. Operation Sunrise was a big takedown in New York City of a whole bunch of coke dealers and other types of dealers too. So that goes to show you right there. She knew what I was up to. And she actually had to worry about me in school. And looking back on it, I have to say, motherfucker. She was probably worried all the time. She probably lost sleep over it. On my stupid fucking street life, you know? Unbelievable. So anyway, this brings me to the what ifs and stuff. You know what I mean? What if I would have stayed clean the first time I got clean? I might be, a fucking superstar DJ at this point. I was very, very talented at it. I still am. Maybe that tragedy in my life would have never taken place. Or even if you want to skip past all that and just get to the period of time where I really, kind of super relapsed in 2011. It was actually 2012. I lost that job like December 5th or something of 2011. For a few weeks, I was just looking for a job, but, then I started hustling and going hard again. What if I would have stayed clean and just sold drugs or not sold drugs? What if Vinny wasn't a cocksucking rat and I still had that fucking job? Let me tell you what I accomplished through that job. I got myself my own apartment because I had been living with a girlfriend. I was on house arrest. I had been in jail in 2008, all that shit in early 2008. I was working basically as a short order cook. You know what I mean? Before I got that job. Once I got that job, I was able to move out, get my own fucking apartment. Eventually buy myself a car. I was getting my credit back together because my credit at one point was like a 786 or something. My credit score, it was crazy. It was good as fuck. Started getting my credit back together, was saving money, wasn't selling drugs, was doing every fucking thing legit. It haunts me every goddamn day. What if I didn't lose that job? Because let me tell you, the loss of that job is what led to the next 3 years at least of using and selling. What if I didn't lose that fucking job? Where would I be right now? I'll tell you where. I'd probably be a supervisor making 80 fucking thousand a year. Minimum. I'd be going to work every fucking day. Who knows what my life would be like? I don't complain so much now because I love my life now. But what would I have been doing for those 3 years if I had kept that job? If I was able to keep it, or if I fucking would have just kept grinding it out and trying to get myself another good job, and I would have never turned back to drugs and the streets. Where would my life be? Where would it have been during those years that I was fucking everything up? Fucking ruining everything in my life. Let me tell you guys something. I live with so much fucking guilt. And that's what this show is really about. Everything I've said during this last 59 minutes is leading up to this. Wait a minute, hold on. Stitchy. My cousin was tight with Flacco. Was that 2016? No, that was a different one. Operation Sunrise was like 2013, I think, or 2014. But I probably know the one you're talking about. And if it's the Flacco, I think it is. Yeah, I know him well. I remember when they all got busted, small world. So you're from around here? Let me see what Snitchy says. So anyway, this is my, what haunts me, okay? Every single fucking day at some point during the day, I begin to dwell on the past. And every fucking thing I did wrong. Everything. And it never stops. It's there every fucking day. If it's not in the back of my head, it's right there on the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, my lip, the inside of my lip is actually itching now. It's driving me fucking crazy. I don't know how that happens. But anyway. Hold on. All right, Lefty. I will, bro, after the show. Um, I dwell on shit that wasn't even part of my addiction. Like if I remember a time, and I do, where I kind of sort of raised my voice to my daughter. I didn't yell at her. I wasn't berating her. Nothing like that. I never did that. But I was just too frustrated about something, and I raised my fucking voice. We're talking about 18, 19 years ago. I'm still thinking every fucking day about how that might have hurt her, and how can I make up for every single fucking thing that I think I did wrong as a father. I can't stop thinking about it. Everything. And you know what? I don't even think my daughter's mad at me because we're fine. But I'm mad at me. And I can't get over it. I can't, guys. I feel like I want to break down in tears sometimes because I think of every fucking little thing I did wrong. And it's always what if, what if, what if? What if you didn't do that? What if you didn't do this? Did you hurt your relationship by doing this? Did you make her mad at you by doing that? And not just her, other people in my life. I was a terrible son to my mother. I was a terrible sibling to my brother. And for a short period of time, I was probably a terrible father. And I can't live with it. I can't. No matter how long I stay clean, no matter how long I continue to progress in things, no matter how long I continue to try to make up uh, for the wrong I've done, I can't stop thinking about it. I can't. I hate it every fucking day. It's painful. And I don't understand why it's still in my fucking head. But I obsess over the littlest things I did in my life. The littlest things that probably mean nothing to the people that were involved, but to me, it's like I deserve to die. Like I was a fucking horrible human being. And there's a large part of me that absolutely fucking hates myself for these things. I'm disgusted by myself sometimes. And I'm telling you guys, there isn't even anything that most people would consider big. It's the smallest fucking things. When I say everything, I mean every mistake I made that I can remember, everything I did wrong, everything I deliberately fucked up, I accidentally fucked up. I am plagued by the fucking memories of it every goddamn day. And staying clean and sober is not helping. Don't get me wrong. It's helping. It's helping my life. It's something I'm going to continue to do, but it's not helping take away any of the fucking pain. It's not helping get rid of the memories. It's just not. When does it stop? Thank you, Argo. Thank you for the $5. Give me a second, guys. All right, guys. Let me read some comments. Reflecting on past mistakes is healthy and shows remorse, but at some point you have to forgive yourself. I know, I just don't know when it's going to come or if it ever is. I don't know. FBS, the best thing you could do now is keep moving forward. Biggest reason not to relapse. Oh, I'm going to. Trust me. See, that's the difference. Every addict is different, I think. And some people in my position would choose to just say, fuck it, and kill the pain the only way they know how. But I won't, and I'll tell you why. Because I fear every day that I'm going to repeat some of those mistakes that I can't forget about or forgive myself for or even get off my mind. I'm terrified of that. For instance, if I went out and drank tonight, I can't tell you everything that would happen, but I can tell you one thing. My wife and the people in this house, well, particularly my stepson, my mom's seen it all. They would see a side of me that would make them sick to their fucking stomachs. I would probably take out a lot of anger on people for no reason. I would get vicious. I would get mean. I'd probably come on here and alienate every one of my subscribers. It would be the beginning of the end again. I would ruin everything again. And I can't do it. I can't. So I'd rather live with the fucking pain than kill it by using. That's just the way I see it. If I start using again, I start the cycle all over again. I make new bad memories. I hurt more people. I cause myself more grief and pain that I have to live with till the day I fucking die. I can't do that. Nobody should, guys. Take my advice. Being sober and clean is fucking hard, but it's worth it because the things you did in the past that you can't get over, you'll do them again. You'll ruin everything, just like I did, time and time again. I don't care if you feel like you're nowhere. Let me tell you something. If you're clean and sober, you're further ahead than you would be if you weren't. I guarantee you that. Don't get me wrong, guys. I have a great life now. I am not complaining about where I wound up. I don't sit there and think about where I would be right now. It's where I could have been when I was lost. When I was lost. When I was living in a fucking hotel, when I was running the streets, when I was being arrested, when I was getting locked up over and over again, when I was fucking going to the psych ward, when I was filled with anger and I wanted vengeance and I'm trying to kill fucking people. All that time, what could I have done with it? But now, yeah, I mean, I'm the rubber band man. I'm the fucking comeback kid. I don't know why. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in blessings. But I am lucky as a motherfucker in my life. Look at my situation now. I live in a nice community where nobody knows me and nobody bothers me. I don't have problems with the police anymore. I don't have to worry about going to jail every day. I don't wake up hungover or feeling like I need some cocaine. I have a beautiful wife who adores me, and I adore her. I have two new kids in my life, my stepsons, who I get along with very well, and I enjoy taking part in, I guess, to some extent, raising them. Because even though my one stepson is older, he's 20 now. You got to remember, this kid did not have a father. His father was in prison until he was 15 years old. And he went before he was born, before my stepson was born. And let me tell you something. Some of the stuff my stepkids have said to me about how they feel about me is probably some of the greatest compliments I've been given in my life. They are eye-opening, and they make me realize that I actually matter to these kids. And I feel like I can make a positive change in their lives. But it's not enough because I still can't go back and fix everything I fucked up. I can't. The tone. I feel you, bro. I get like that too. Guilt trips for no reason. Yeah. Alex, you want to know about the wonderful thing about kids? If you tell them how they feel and that you have regrets, they forgive and love you no matter what. I know. Guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry, guys. You want to know about grinding? Try my job. Yeah, I'm sure. What's up, Diaz? How you been, bro? Glad to see you. That means you're a good man, my friend. It's when you don't care. I totally understand. I hear you. Eric, worrying too much about the past causes depression. Worrying too much about the future causes anxiety. Yeah, true words. You feel remorse. A lot of people are selfish and don't care who they hurt. Yeah, it's not me. I'm like I said, I'm plagued by it. Italian control syndrome, FBS. We can't control all things, especially the past, but the future that we have a say in. Yeah, words of wisdom, my friend. It's true. But that's another thing, the Italian control syndrome. That I didn't even get to. That's one of my regrets. I look back at how I was, especially when I was using. And I was controlling as a motherfucker. I mean, I had to control everything in my life. And to some extent, I did. Everything. Even, I won't get into that, but let's just say my controller issues quite often made me act like a complete and total fucking jerk off, a dickhead to the people I love. And I can't be that way anymore. I watch myself. I'm trying to teach myself that you can't be in control of everything because I do have control issues. There's no fucking doubt about it. I think because I've always been the type of person I've been. I've always been a leader. I've always been able to get people to follow me. Always. When Lee and those guys say you wanted to be black, you wanted to hang around the black guys, it's not how it happened at all. It's not how I was never want to be anything. Never. I was always the leader. Always. And I think that made it that way so that I felt like if I can control these people, I can control these people as well. And let me tell you something, there's nothing worse than a control freak. It'll make your life fucking miserable living with one. And that's what I was for a good period of time. I think for a lot longer than I even realized. But that's, again, part of becoming clean and sober, and it probably goes on for the rest of your fucking life. You're constantly thinking about new shit. I mean, it's not even that you're dwelling on the same stuff. Like all of a sudden, a memory will come to you, and you'll be like, "Oh fuck, I really did that," and then you beat yourself up over that for years. I mean, it's too much to handle sometimes, honestly. Bob, we realized too late that money could be made back, but not time. So we continued doing the wrong thing in the early years. Bob, you're so fucking right, bro. You're so right. It stops when you come to the peace with the fact that you can't change history. Yeah, but you know what? A lot of my problem is there were certain mistakes that I promised myself early on that I would never make. And now looking back on them, I realized that I made every one of those fucking mistakes. And it affected other people's lives. I hear you, Psycho. FBS, you're getting in my head, lol. I think that's why my brother never slows down. He works his regular job, goes home for dinner, then goes out doing side jobs until late. Probably. Got to be distracted. That's why I'm always doing something. I can't, guys. If I go right now and go lay on the couch and try to distract myself, it'll creep up on me like a fucking monster. There's no escaping it. So I'm always doing something. Why do you think I said the other day? I always have to have background noise. I don't watch shit. I never have my eyes on any fucking thing, but I'm always listening to something. I got to cancel out the noise in my head. I do. With external fucking noise. If I'm filling the dishwasher, if I'm mowing the lawn, if I'm driving in the car, if I'm shopping at a store, I have my fucking earbuds in. Always. I take my earbuds out right before I take my medicine, which I take right before I go to bed. When I know I'm about to fall asleep, that's when I take them out. And when I wake up, I put them back in. Unless nobody, nobody's home or anything. I fucking, I just listen to whatever on my phone without my earbuds. But you get my point. I haven't had a drink in 20 years, never was addicted. I get it, though. Chemical dependence is a terrible and a real thing. It certainly is. Haven't touched coke in over 30 years. Congrats, my friend. Eric, FBS, if people do to you the things you worry about so much you did to others, I'm sorry, if people did to you the things you worry about so much you did to others, would you still be mad? If not, then treat yourself like you treat the others, if that makes sense. That's a very good way to put it, Eric. And honestly, no, I've let pretty much everything go. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple of people out there who I would love to kill. I'm telling you right now, love it. There's one that I would actually, I would take a life sentence if I could get a hold of him and end his life. But guess what? You want to hear the fucked up part about that? I still don't know who he is. Never found out. Ryan Morrison, 449 super sticker. Thank you very, very much, my friend. Hotel living has to be rough. Honestly, Joey, it wasn't bad. I mean, listen, I could afford it with no problem. I was by myself, which at the time, it's exactly what I wanted to be. You know what I mean? There was friends in the hotel. It was a lot of hustlers and shit in there. You know what I mean? People from out of town. I made fucking friends. There was even girls everywhere. No shortage of that. Plus, I had a phone full of them. You know what I mean? I was never lonely unless I wanted to be when it comes to that. And when it comes to family and stuff, yeah, sometimes I was lonely involuntarily. And I would sell my shit and I would go to work at night. I worked third shift, for years at that factory where I built motorcycles. You know what I mean? So I would go to work at 10 o'clock. I would work until 6 a.m. I'd come back to the hotel. I would chill for a little while, get a little fucked up, whatever, then go to sleep. Then I would wake up, usually just go to work. But sometimes, like I said, I'd get fucked up first. But I always had some coke with me at work. I worked in this area that was dope. I went from assembly to forklift, and then finally I switched positions to NCM. Damn, I almost forgot the letters. NCM, which is like quality control, the non-conforming materials it stands for. And my job was to sit at a desk pretty much by myself. There was like 4 other people at desks, but I had my own little desk, my own music. I had a Bluetooth speaker. I had my lights. I had my computer, everything I needed. And you know what I did? The beginning of the shift, I unloaded the truck with all the motorcycle parts from Harley that were defective. I unloaded the truck. I would then put the parts on different racks. I would sort them out, and I'd give a rack to each person in NCM. And I would take my rack, I would sit at my desk, and I would just take pieces apart. If it was handlebars that had a scratch on them, okay, now I got to take the throttle off. I got to take the hand grip off. I have to take the control panel off. I have to take, all that shit. You know what I mean? And then you take each piece. You write out a little piece of, a little, they give you a little pieces of paper. It's paperwork. It asks you certain questions. What's wrong with the product, blah, blah, or the item, whatever. You fill out your paperwork. And then you put the part on a different rack, and that goes over to the Harley people, and they inspect it, and they decide if it can go back on the floor. Dope job. You know what I mean? I literally just took Harley Davidsons apart all fucking night long, every night. It was the shit. Everything. It could be the handlebars. It could be the fucking the foot pegs. It could be any fucking thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes there was rims that were fucked up. We would throw away hundreds of fucking chrome rims right in the trash. It was nuts. We'd have to inspect them. There was all types of stuff. We had to take apart the whole, what do you call it? Oh, fuck, I forget it. The inner something. The whole front part of the bike. Where it has the speedometer, where it has the radio, where it has everything, the speakers in the sides. I can't remember what it's called now. Inner something. Fuck me. Anyway, you know how cool it is to just sit there. You take the speakers out, you take the stereo part out, you take the, all these different parts off, and just label them and send them over to Harley. I mean, it was the shit, but there was a little room back there that was like our little cafeteria that nobody was ever in. It was very small. So they'd only go in there to microwave their food or make some coffee or whatever. I'd go back there. There's no cameras or nothing. I'd break out my Coke, get a little fucked up, go back out to my desk and take more Harley parts apart. You know what I mean? The interfering. That's what it's called. The interfering. And that's what I would do. You know what I mean? I'd go back to the hotel. I would chill. If there was a night where you decide you want a girl, they weren't hard to find. They were everywhere in that hotel for all types of different reasons. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, I had girls I would call, whatever. It was almost fun, to be honest. I was miserable because of what was going on in my head. You know what I mean? It wasn't even living at a hotel. I didn't care because I had money. You got to remember, when I was living in that hotel, I'm paying $375 a week for the room. Then all I got to buy is my food and shit, pay my other bills. And my mom, I paid her car payment, and I paid half of her rent for her apartment. You know what I mean? And I still had money to get whatever I wanted. So, it really wasn't that terrible. FBS, hands down, your best show ever. Oh, thank you, bro. Is it really? Thank you so much, Dave. I hope so, man, because after all that, after what I just put myself through and all the stuff I revealed and how it's going to come back to kick me in the ass for the rest of my life, I hope you guys enjoyed this and took something from it, because if not, I made a big fucking mistake, guys. I made a big mistake. I hate myself too for my past mistakes, but I am trying to never make them again and be a better man. That's all you can do, bro. That's it. Stopped drinking 30 years ago. Might have had some beers every 10 to 12 years. Last time was 2009. Well, congratulations, bro. Congratulations. That's great. You have 14 years. That's excellent. Hang in there, bro. I am there for you. I live with emotional pain. It would be easy to numb myself with drugs and alcohol, but I can't do that. I lost both my dad and my wife. I still stay clean and sober. Well, bro, I don't know how you do it, but listen, that's so commendable. I give you all the respect in the world, Brian, because I don't know. I don't think I could do it. I really don't. Let me get down here. I'll say it again. If you would never be an addict, you would have never met Shanna. See that as the reason why everything happened. I know, and I do. It's just that I still can't get over the things I did as an addict. Like, if I feel like I hurt somebody, I don't think it's fair to say, oh, well, all that got me to this point where I'm so happy. Because what if they're still not happy because of something I did? What if they're still mad at me? I don't know. You know what I mean? And let me tell you, quite often, you don't know. You don't know. Like, I don't sit there with my daughter. I talk to her all the time for hours at a time. I see her, all that shit. Uh, but I know that any of this stuff would make her uncomfortable. So I never say to her, when I did this, how did it make you feel? Did it bother you? Or are you still mad at me for anything? That could only alienate her. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Because it brings back old memories that she might not want to remember. So I can't ask these questions to my mom. I can't say, Mom, how did it feel when I told you for the first time I was addicted to cocaine? She'd break down in fucking tears. I can't say to my brother, hey, bro, what about that time I hit you with a fucking baseball bat? You still mad at me? You don't want to bring back these old memories. You know what I mean? So you can't ask people these questions, so you just have to spend the rest of your life wondering. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. You were making a positive change in their life, no doubt about it. I think so. I think so. My stepkids truly love me. You know what I mean? And I love them. Great kids. My youngest stepson isn't. He played baseball. That's over. Now he's playing basketball. He's becoming a little athlete. He's well behaved. He's a straight A fucking student. Happy as could be. You know what I mean? My oldest stepson was with an awesome, awesome girl, beautiful girlfriend. You know what I mean? Excellent. We consider her a member of the family. She's like a stepdaughter to me. You know what I mean? We love this girl. And she's made such a positive change in his life. He's doing good. He's working. He bought his own car. I took him to buy his first car. You know what I mean? I got to take him to do that. So he's driving, he's working, you know what I mean? He's trying to save money and do, make his life better, make both of their lives better. We spend a lot of time together. You know what I mean? It's awesome. Listen, having my mom here, and let me tell you, me and my mom battled for years at times. I mean, my mom is a tough fucking lady. She don't take my shit. Never has. Don't get me wrong. She loved me more than anybody in this world ever will. Still does, I'm sure. Did her best to give me everything I want. And then when she couldn't, I think she almost understood why I was doing what I had to do to get what I want and need. You know what I mean? She was my biggest fan when I was DJing. She was my biggest support system when I was in jail. I consider her my mother and my father. So to have her here and know that she was able to retire, you know what I mean? And now she's able to live a comfortable life, and anything she needs, anything, I'm there to help her with financially, whatever. And I'm just here to help her in general. And not only that, but let me tell you something. None of us know how much time we have left. My mom's heart function right now is 10%. She could barely walk up the stairs. She almost has to crawl. It's fucking sad. But she got to see me like this. She didn't die when I was in the worst state of addiction and terrible health and everything else. She got to see me improve myself over the last 3 years and continue to improve myself now. And I can honestly say that I think my mom is really proud of me. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people in my life are. I think my daughter is extremely proud of me. I think a lot of people are. But doesn't help with the fucking demons in my head. Snitchy, snitchy. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Hard times make you resilient. I never saw your answer, bro. You from around here? Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me a second. All right, that was Shanna. Did you ever consider meditating? Take a half hour a day. Let me tell you something. I love the idea of it. When I was in rehab, they taught us meditation, and I was able to do it there. listening to the guy's voice, and I was able to clear my head. I would come out of it feeling like a brand new fucking person. It was amazing. But I've tried it on my own, and I can't get it. My head, I can't clear my fucking head. I can't. I wish I could master the art of transcendental meditation. I really do. Because people that have mastered that are some of the most peaceful, positive, happy people I've ever come across. Miss Can't Be Wrong. It's a good piece of advice. Actually, I might try that. FBS, you have so many positives. You are clean and have time to make amends. Hopefully, Miss Can't Be Wrong. I hope so. Because the way I've been feeling the last couple of months, I don't know if I have time to make amends. That's another thing. Alex, thank you so much, bro. 1999. You are a good human. When you feel regret and remorse, it's just your soul reminding you to do good deeds. More words of wisdom. Yeah, maybe you're right. Thank you, Alex. LOL, yeah, besides the killing, but I mean the people you really care about. Treat yourself like a third person. People tend to be way harder on themselves than others. It's about self love. Oh, bro, yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. I'm not nearly um, as hard on myself. I mean, as hard on other people as I am myself. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at your earlier comments. I'm driving FBS. Just want to tell you I can relate to what you're saying. Thank you, Wise Guy TV. I'm glad to know somebody can. My dad loved his Harley. That place would have been heaven to him. He would have come out with a bike one piece at a time. Let's just say some people there were doing just that. You know what I mean? They would take home some foot pegs. They would take home some handlebar grips, some throttles. You know what I mean? They would take home all kinds of headlights, fog lights, all types of different shit. Everybody had a backpack at that fucking place. It got to the point where they were checking bags before you left. It was crazy. But a lot of people stole a lot of expensive parts. You know what I mean? Even though just those headlights with the housing and everything, all that stuff, that's big fucking money. The fucking foot pegs could be a couple of $100, up to $600 a pair, depending on which ones. I mean, there's all types of shit. There's a lot. There's a hell of a lot. So sorry for your loss, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Lefty Guns Pool Hall. Don't let him lie to you. Living in hotels fucking sucks, and it's a ridiculously expensive endeavor. Well, yeah, but I did it for 8 months, and most of that time I was in a cocaine and alcohol haze. You know what I mean? But it didn't bother me that much. It didn't bother me that much. I'll tell you what bothered me about it. One time I saw a roach, and I almost went fucking berserk. And I literally went out and bought like 80 different types of roach traps and everything else. Never saw another one after that. But listen, it wasn't a happy life. Like it wasn't like it's not where I wanted to be. I'm just saying that I did it for 8 months, and it was I'll tell you what, the last 3 months was probably some of the worst times of my life. That's when I started going hard with the addiction again. And the last few weeks, I would listen. I told you guys, I would, in my own little way, I would pray that I would die in my sleep. I would wish for it. I just wanted to die. And Lefty, I'll tell you the truth, man. I think the day I entered that hotel is the day I decided that I'm never going to leave here. In other words, I'm going to die in this place. You guys remember leaving Las Vegas? Remember the Whole Year Inn, the hotel? It was called the Whole Year Inn. But when he looked at it, it said the Whole You're In. And he entered that hotel room with the decision that he is going to die there. And that's exactly what I did. You know what I mean? It's exactly what I did. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much. Thank you, or yeah, I know, Eric. I should. I can't though. It's hard to talk about it with people. Because there's part of me that says maybe this is something they don't even think about. But then I'll bring it up, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you know what? You fucking jerk off. Well, what were you doing that day? Why'd you do that? You know?" And then they are mad at me. It's like I'm so careful. Listen, guys, I don't. People think I have all the answers because of the way I debate and shit. I don't. I don't have all the answers in my own life. I don't know I don't know. I don't know what I can say to people, what I can't, what I should talk about, what I shouldn't. I don't know. I'm lost in a way still. It's not fucking, it's not I don't know. It could be miserable. It could be. Yeah, great show. Weird that way less people check this out than the ranting about LC3 and Tony Pizza. Well, I'm going to get to that. Something happened with my video last night that's very, very suspicious. Something happened. It makes no sense. I'll just talk about this for a second, but I had 279 people at one point. I stayed above 200 the whole time, and the show was like 3 hours and 5 minutes. I look at my views today. I got 600 views. That's not possible. That's not possible. Okay? Every Idaho murder show I've done has at least 2,000. Except one, I think, has 1,900, and all my shows get at least 2,000. Unless I do them like real close back to back. So there's something going on. Then I look at Social Blade, and it took away 300 and something views. So I don't know what happened. Either somebody's fucking with me, or this is my fear. Reddit is now making it so that if you talk about that girl Dylan involved, the survivor of the Idaho murders, they're basically getting rid of you. They're deleting your account. They're doing whatever. They're blocking you. They don't want you talking about her. Now, you could talk about her being there, stuff like that. But as soon as you say she should have called the cops, or she did something wrong, or she was negligent, you're in big fucking trouble. So I have a fear that YouTube made the same decision. And maybe because of the title of last night's show and what was talked about, they held the video back. I don't know. But I looked at my analytics today. It says concurrent, 280 viewers, concurrent. Okay? Live viewers. It is an impossibility, I'm telling you right now, to even end that show with 600 views. After 3 hours, you're probably ending that show with 800-900 views. So something fucked up happened. Anyway, let's get back to the other thing. Joseph Montanaro, great show, FBS. I am proud to be a part of this. Thank you for these shows. Thank you for saying that, my friend. I'm glad that it helps you in some way. She'll always be proud of you no matter what. I hope so. MobTube is proud of you, bro. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you very much for that. Jason Mikesell, what's up, everyone? Just got off work. Glad to see there is an addiction recovery show. Yeah, this one was a doozy, Jason. It really was. Eric, bro, if I were you, I would talk about it with your mother, etc. I think you're going to regret. I think you're going to regret for not doing it when she is gone. Then you have another what if, and it might help your nightmares as well. You're probably right, Eric. You're probably definitely right. Miss Charlie Steen, I've got an app for meditation, FBS. It's really, it really works. Best show ever. Oh, thank you. Could you send me that, Miss Charlie Steen, the information about that app? I'd love to find out about that. Love FBS. A man without hair, he suffered enough. That's fucked up, but true. We're all, wait a minute. We are all proud of you. I'm damn proud to call you a friend, bro. Thank you, Junior Lollipops. Same to you, bro. Thank you very much for that. My dad died proud of me. That meant a lot. I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. Free speech surrendered under the guise of terms of service. Yeah, I know. Ritzy, look at you, bro. What an incredible man you are. Great fucking guy. That's awesome. $100. You're the man, Ritzy. Inspiring broadcast, FBS. Be proud. Outstanding. Oh, I'm glad you got to see the whole thing, Ritzy. I didn't see you in here, so I didn't know if you were here. But thank you, man. I have a feeling I'm going to regret this in a major way, only because you know why. But hopefully not. I don't really care either, because I'm being honest. Fuck everybody. If they have a problem with it or try to make fun of it, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I'm confident enough to be able to do this. Plus, listen, I'll be honest. It's not totally selfish. I honestly thought about it before the show, and I thought about whether or not this might give you guys some comfort and help you maybe in your battles with your demons or with your struggles or recovery. And from what you're telling me, it did. So I don't regret it. Yeah, Richie's the man. Thank you so much, bro. Only POS would say anything about the show. Well, we got a lot of them here. We got a lot of them here. You know what I mean? Not here so much, but over there, you know? So working and listening, bro, can't sit down. Oh, gotcha. We love your back if the other I'm sorry. I was like, what? We have your back if the other side wants to be I'm not even worried about it. I don't care. I've told a lot of this shit already, you know what I mean? But listen, that's the difference between me and them. Me and like Lee, for example. Lee wanted to know, always his big question is how the fuck did I fly by him and why people like me more and all that. And I'll tell you why, Lee. First of all, I'm me and you're you, and I'm fucking awesome compared to you, without a doubt. I'm the man. Compared to you, I'm a perfect person. Okay. But it's also that no one else on here will be honest. Nobody does. And I'm saying no one. There's not a single person, with the exception of maybe Jimmy Calandra, that'll really put it all on the line and tell you everything they fucked up, everything fucked up about them, how much pain they feel, the things they suffered with and through. Nobody will do it. And I don't blame a lot of people, but I mean, especially on that side, they don't understand that part of, I think, my popularity is because of my honesty. Because I'll tell you all day, I'm the world's biggest fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. They won't do that. You won't hear anybody on that side tell you, well, listen, I have this flaw, or I wish I would have done that differently in the past. I screwed up, because they're worried about being made fun of and ridiculed. I don't give a fuck. They've made fun of me and ridiculed me for 18 fucking months now. It means nothing. I'm still doing better than them. You know what I mean? I'm still living a better life than them. What do I care? You know? Listen, it's hard to be sitting on a beach in Miami or Fort Lauderdale. It's hard to be upset that some douchebag in Long Island or something is making fun of you while you're in fucking paradise. You know what I mean? With a pocket full of money, a sweet ass rental car, a fucking 5-star hotel, luxury hotel room. You know what I mean? And yeah, you're with your beautiful wife. It's hard to be bothered. And I think back to things like that, my life in general, compare it to theirs, and that's why they're miserable. That's why. You will never regret this. It's actually a beautiful thing you did tonight. I relate to it. Thank you, Dave. See, that means a lot to me, man. That kind of stuff tells me that I made the right choice for this show. Because, guys, I'll tell you again, I'm not good at this. I'm good at my other shows. These shows, I don't know how to conduct them. I was never in any types of addiction groups. I tended refuge a little bit in rehab. But I still don't know exactly what it's all about. I read some of the book, shit like that. AA, I didn't want any part of. My only involvement was AA, as I would tell my story in AA groups from time to time, and I would still be willing to do that. But I don't know how to come on here and conduct this show like it's a meeting. I don't know how to do that. All I know how to do is try to relate to you guys, show you how much I relate to you guys, and tell you my fucking stories and listen to yours. That's it. I mean, that's all I can do. I don't know if I'm doing good at it, but I'm trying to. Look at this guy. He comes in here like, bro, James Jarvie. Every time there's a positive show coming on, this dickhead comes in with some comment. James Jarvie, how about later on my regular show? I dropped the link for you, bro, and you come on and debate me. You won't, because you're a coward and a pussy. And no negativity on this show, bitch. Bye. Off with his head, guys. Oh, of course, Jane Craig. FBS, I strongly recommend therapy. You think I could use it, huh? Yeah, I know. Maybe someday. I am working, so I can't comment, but I related to just about everything. Well, thank you, bro. I'm glad, man. I'm glad. It makes me feel better too that somebody feels the way I feel. Oh, that would be the shit, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Therapy saved my life. Literally, I wouldn't be here now. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people who say it saved their lives. I believe it. Both you and Tony Soflo have had hard lives, but are truly happy people. Yeah, well, I am for the most part. You know what I mean? Like I love my life now, but I do have this part of me that falls into a state of misery when I think about these things from my past. I I can't get over them, guys. I can't. No matter what I fucking do, I can't. There's nothing I could do for the people I've hurt. I can't buy them enough things. I can't give them enough money. I can't take them enough places. I can't say enough kind words. I know that some things, even words, sting so bad that they stick in a person's mind forever. Forever. There's certain things my dad said to me when I was young that I will never, ever forget. And some of these things were said when I was a little boy. You know, my dad, on the day of my communion, destroyed our house in Queens, broke everything, every mirror, every picture frame, put holes in the walls, destroyed furniture, and then disappeared for days. I will never forget that. I can't. Now, I've never done anything that bad. But if I could remember things like that, then the things I've done to people, they can remember forever as well. And I know that. You know what I mean? And here's the funny part about that. As far as my dad, there was a long time where I thought he was a truly bad person. Bad. I was happy when he left. Very happy. But then when I got to read, you know, read now is not a word, but when I got to, what's the fucking word I'm looking for? When we I can't think. I'm having a fucking brain freeze. When we kind of got to know each other again in 2012, when we linked back up after all these years and not 15, no, 17 years, whatever it was, without seeing each other. I got to know him as a man. In other words, I wasn't a kid anymore. I was a grown man, and I got to know him, and I got to see a different side of him. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't think he's a bad person anymore. I don't, and I'm not even mad at him for the things he did. And he did some bad fucking things. He did some bad. We were living in Pennsylvania at one point. Okay, we had already moved here, and we were in Bay Ridge. We were in Bay Ridge. And my grandfather had died a few years before. He wasn't even, he was my step grandfather, whatever you want to call him. Okay. He passed away a few years before. And my grandmother was hanging out with this guy. I don't know if she was seeing him or if they were friends. I don't know. But this was a great fucking guy. You know what I mean? They were spending time together. And they wanted, this guy wanted to take us all to TJ Bentley's the next day for brunch, right? Well, my dad took this as a major insult because he saw this as, this guy wants to pay for my family to eat. I ain't having it. You know, it's my family. I pay. You remember when Tony Soprano said, I pay, you eat? That's how my dad was. You know what I mean? He was disgusted by the fact that this dude thought he was going to take our family out and pay for us. And he went apeshit. He went berserk. And you know what he did? He left. He went back to Pennsylvania. He left me and my mom in Bay Ridge. We had to get a rental car and everything, drive back to PA. Like, he just left us because he was pissed off about this shit. Crazy, right? But these are things now that I laugh at. I don't hate him. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't. Unfortunately, after we reconciled and we're talking again for a year or 2 years, whatever it was, and he did some very nice things for me in that time too. Trust me, because he felt like I felt. He felt like I feel. He felt like he had a lot to make up for. Because of his temper and my temper, things went sideways, and we haven't spoken since then. I haven't seen him. I don't know where he is. You know what I mean? But I don't hate him. I don't, and I wish the best for him. All I could wish is that wherever he is, whatever he's doing, I just wish that he's happy. That's all that matters to me. I let a lot of stuff go, but I needed to, you know. Tony Soprano. That was shitty FPS. It was. It was fucked up. Yeah, it hurt his pride. Absolutely. He's 100% Sicilian, born and raised in Brooklyn and Queens. You know what I mean? Well, he was born and raised in Brooklyn, lived, later on in Queens, was a tough bastard in every sense of the word. My father was no fucking joke. And that hurt. Yeah, he wasn't that. He has pride. Do you think you're going to pay for my fucking fee? He went nuts on the guy. He flipped out. You know what I mean? He got in the Cadillac and he drove back to PA. And there we were, stuck in Brooklyn. And that's just one of a million things. I told you guys, if you want to picture my dad, and I mean this, and I hate to say this, but I'm an honest person. Look at Danny Aiello in 29th Street. The things he said to his kids, the way he treated them, his temper, the way he spoke, everything about him. He even looks a lot like my dad. That is what he reminds me of my dad. From the minute I saw that, I watched it with my mom and I said, that's him. That's him. That particular scene where the son, I forget his name, decided that he was going to take his lottery ticket and go to that event all by himself. And his father ran up the stairs and went in his room and went berserk on him and said certain things to him. Yeah, I had that. Those exact words. You know what I mean? So, it wasn't a fun childhood. I'll tell you that much. It was worse for my brother. My brother got a lot of the physical aspect of it. For me, it was more verbal. But, all I could say is never tell a child that he's a loser or that he's never going to grow up to be anything or he's going to grow up to be a criminal just like his brother. Never tell a kid that because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you tell a kid anything enough times, he will start to believe it and decide that must be his destiny. And he will turn out to be everything he was told he's going to be. So be careful. Yeah, he got in a lack. Yeah. My hubby's dad is like that. Never calls, nothing. Had another family. Oh, shit. Do you look like your dad, FBS? In a lot of ways, yes, except I'll tell you this. My dad, he was a little taller than me, heavier. But, I do too. If you saw my hair, like if I let my hair grow out now, because believe it, I do, believe it or not, I actually do have hair. I just have a lot of spots missing. My hair is jet black. It's like pipe wire. You know what I mean? It's the Sicilian in me. It's fucking, and that's how my dad was. Always had jet black hair. Till this day, this fucking guy's got a full, at least up until 2013 or so, full head of hair. So I'm sure he still has it. I don't know what happened here. My brother, full head of fucking hair. Every man in my family. You know what probably did it is drugs and alcohol. It speeds up the aging fucking process. That's no joke. But my dad always had the slick back, jet black hair, that dark. Like my brother's darker than me, and my dad's darker than him. Dark. But I do, yes. If I showed you a picture of my dad, you could absolutely see me and him. Not my brother, but me. Yeah, for sure. Yes, mine beat the hell out of us for nothing. Well, yeah, my brother took a lot, man. My brother got his head split wide the fuck open on the corner of a china cabinet. You know what I mean? Still has the scar. right across his forehead. Had to go to school and make up some bullshit about playing basketball and falling. I don't know. But Al-Qaeda Putz fucks up subconscious self-image, and the subconscious guides conscious behavior in order to prove the image the child holds, whether it's good or bad, true or false. I couldn't imagine it being said any better than that, but you're exactly right. 100%. 100 fucking percent. This has been another great show in motion, FPS. You were inspiring for sure. Thank you, Mia. Thank you. It means a lot. It means a lot to me. My dad was strict, but I get it. You have to be with girls. Wait a minute. My dad was strict, but I get it. You have to be with girls. I can say that now, having raised two. I guess so. But with my daughter, I couldn't be mad at her. I couldn't be angry. I never cursed at her, called her a name. Even if I raised my voice here and there, it was nothing insulting to her. It was just that you got a temper, you know what I mean? But I can honestly say I never, as far as I remember, never said a hurtful word to her. I adored her, and I still do. She's my everything, you know. And believe it or not, guys, I was a great fucking father for a long time, a great father. I made sure of it. I was involved as a father could be. I was at every parent-teacher meeting. When I was on house arrest, the only thing I asked permission for was to be able to have a few hours to go to my daughter's open house so I could speak to her teachers. That's it. I made sure she got to experience things. I was always in charge of her birthday parties, and I made them fucking magical. I mean, I'm not kidding. If I told you about my daughter's 5th birthday party, you'd fall over. It's like something you'd see on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I put so much time, money, and resources into this. It was incredible, and that's how I was. I wanted her to have everything I didn't have. I wanted her to see everything I didn't see. I wanted everything good anyway. I wanted her to have a magical childhood, and I think she did. You know what I mean? I think she did, and I was a huge part of that. But later on, I think I made some mistakes. I know I did. What's going on? I don't know, Eric. Hair loss. I've never studied it. I really don't care. I'll tell you why. I was talking to Gunsmoke about this the other day. Since I was 15, I shaved my head. Not always. In the winter and stuff, I let my hair grow. I'd keep my hair long for like 6 months. Always, slicked back the gel and all that thick ass fucking hair. But in the summer, I'd be like, fuck this. I would shave it. In the last couple of years, before I realized I was going bald, I was shaving it voluntarily, not because I needed to. And then I went to jail, and I only shaved my head with clippers at the time. Now I use razors, but I was afraid to because of razor bumps. So when I went to jail, I was like, I don't want my head all broken out. I'll just let the shit grow. And it all grew in. I had a full head of hair. The only problem is it was so thin on top. Still, I could probably grow a full head of hair. I mean, my fucking hairline's back here. But it's so thin on top, I look ridiculous. I look fucking silly. You know what I mean? Like, I should show you guys my old state ID that I went from work release to get. I was so pale and my hair was all crazy looking. I got to show you guys that sometime. It's funny as fuck, man. You could tell I was locked up. Like, unreal. But I don't know. The hair thing. My brother, every time I look at him, like, you son of a bitch. He always has like a buzz cut, but that motherfucker's hair is so thick still. You could see it even with a buzz cut. It's like, God fucking damn. Older than me. You know what I mean? Much older than me. I don't know. I don't know what to say. How do you still have hair? God damn it. When I saw my dad in 2012, I almost fell over. He looked like Robert De Niro in Goodfellas. You know what I mean? A full head of hair, a little salt and pepper. I'm like, fuck me. Even he said to me the first day we saw each other again after 17 years, he said, Jesus, looks like you're going bald. He said, "Where did that come from?" I said, "Mom's genes, I guess. I don't know." I don't know. It's fucked up. Oh shit. Yeah, no shit. No. Oh my god, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Hell no. My friend Dink was a little bit. It was weird, but no, I wasn't. Nah, they don't Jason Mike sell. That's crazy, Eric. All right, guys, you know what? It's been 2 hours. And by the way, El Kayim Putz, did I thank you for becoming a new member or renewing or whatever? Thank you for that. Guys, if you can, please buy a membership to this channel. You know what I mean? It would mean a lot to me. I want to build that up. And trust me, you won't regret it. I'll give you a lot of members only material. I'm always planning different stuff. So buy a membership if you can. It would mean a lot. You know what I mean? It would mean a lot. All right, that's it, guys. I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed this. I really do. I'm going to try to snap out of this mood and hopefully make something good of my day. And I'll be back on tonight, whether I like it or not. Got to make money, guys. Times are tough. Times are tough. I checked my Cash App the other day, yesterday. I have $700 less than I had from the 1st till the 9th. Okay, I have $700 less than I had last month from the 1st to the 9th. It's that bad. My PayPal, I don't have 5% of what I had in it last month between the 1st and the 9th. It's terrifying. It's scaring the shit out of me. Major pay cut. And super chats are down like a motherfucker too. So I don't know. But if you could buy a membership, please do. That's it, guys. 81 people still. Thank you for hanging out with me and listening to my bullshit. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it brought you some comfort and maybe made you feel better about some things in your life. I hope I didn't make you feel worse. I certainly hope that. But that's it. I'll see you guys tonight at 10 o'clock because FBS has to make a living. Listen, I can't forget. I almost forgot. I can't believe Miss Can't Be Wrong didn't yell at me. Write down those numbers. National Addiction Hotline and the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Keep them close by. Keep them in your purse, your wallet, your man bag, your fanny pack. If you're a kangaroo, keep them in your pouch. If you're a chick who likes to keep things in your bra, put it there, whatever. You know what I mean? And keep it close by in case you ever need it. If you ever need, I still got Kimberly's information up. Well, that's good because Kimberly, you guys should reach out to her if you need her. Stay strong on your road to recovery, please. If you need anything that I can help you with, even if it's just someone to talk to, reach out to me. If you need me to help you find resources to get into a facility, I will gladly do that. And it's not that I have any special powers anyone else has, it's just that or that no one else has. It's just that you might not be in the state of mind to find yourself a facility and funding or whatever to get into one, and I might be able to do that for you. I'll do whatever I can to help you guys. Right? You do a hell of a lot to help me. I don't know what I would do without you. So thank you for everything. I love you all, and until next time, salute.